Greetings to one and all. You are listening to MMJC Fortnightly Podcast. Now that we are standing in the month of December, all the compliances pertaining to previous financial year, that is 2020 to 23, including the filing of financial statements and annual returns with ROC, must have been complied with, and the companies must be in the process of filing Form CSR 2 for the financial year 2020 to 23. So this is the time we should discuss about the compliances pertaining to current financial year, that is 2023-24. In this edition of MMJC Fortnightly Podcast, we shall discuss about one such compliance that is carried out throughout the year, that is CSR. As we are aware, the Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR is not a one-time compliance and is carried out throughout the year. So we shall discuss about some aspects relating to CSR. And to participate in this discussion, we have with us CS Ms. Hasti Vora from Research and Development Team of MMJC. So Hasti, to begin with, will you elaborate upon the sequence of compliances relating to CSR?
Yes, sure. As you mentioned at the beginning, CSR related compliances are spread throughout the year. The sequential list of compliances relating to CSR include constitution of CSR committee and formulation of CSR policy, which is a one-time activity. Formation of annual action plan, which needs to be done every year, and only after the board of directors approve the annual action plan, the company can disburse the funds for carrying out the CSR activities. Thereafter, CSR activities need to be completed. That is, disbursed amount must be utilized before the end of financial year, except where it is an ongoing project, which we will discuss probably in today's session. And then reporting of CSR shall be done by the company. Also, as discussed above, I would like to add that one CSR related compliance pertaining to the previous year, which might still be pending in many companies. That is filing of CSR 2 for CSR spending during the financial year 22-23.
Is there any timeline for filing this Form CSR 2?
Yes, this form has to be filed before 31st March 2024 for the financial year 22-23. Actually, as per the rules under Companies Act, this form is intended to be an addendum to Form AOC 4, in which financial statements are filed. But presently, MCA has prescribed to file it separately.
Okay, but what if I couldn't spend CSR, what if I couldn't comply with CSR in particular year? I mean, what if the company is not able to spend entire 2% of average net profits during any particular financial year up to 31st March? Then does it have any option?
Yes. In such a case, if the company has identified any specific ongoing project on which it was desirous of spending the money and wants to spread the CSR spending on that project beyond the financial year to 3 more financial years, then the company must first start the project, which must have been a part of the annual action plan adopted by the board of directors earlier in that financial year, and the board of directors need to approve that this project will be an ongoing project along with relevant justification. Then the company should transfer the money to separate unspent CSR account to be opened for that particular year before 30th April of the next financial year. That is within 30 days of the end of financial year, and the company needs to spend on that project over the next 3 financial years. If there is no such ongoing project, then the company will need to transfer the unspent CSR amount to any funds specified in Schedule 7 of Companies Act 2013.
Okay, so with respect to this transfer of unspent CSR amount to a separate bank account, I can recollect one order passed by ROC Hyderabad with respect to non-compliance by a company. In this case, the company was supposed to spend rupees 42 lakhs approximately to an unspent account up to 30th April of that particular financial year, that is 2021. But the company transferred the said unspent amount to a separate account at 31st September 2021. The company further stated to ROC that it was an inadvertent error, but still the ROC had imposed heavy penalties on the company.
Yes, now that we are discussing about the ongoing project, I would like to highlight one thing. The concept of ongoing project came in the year 2020-21 as an amendment dated 22nd January 2021. As per this concept, if the company has categorized any project as an ongoing project between 22nd January 2021 to 31st March 2021, where spending could not be completed till 31st March 21, then the company would have kept the CSR unspent money aside in a separate bank account by 30th April 21 for spending it within 3 next years. That means if any company has kept any unspent CSR money aside in a separate bank account for financial year 2020-2021 for any ongoing project, then it has to spend the same by end of 3 years, that is by 31st March 24. Otherwise, the same will have to be transferred to Schedule 7 fund by 30th April 2024.
So you mean to say that in case of an ongoing project that has commenced in the financial year 2020-21, the last date for spending CSR amount on such project will be 31st March 2024, and in case if any amount remains unspent on this project beyond 31st March 2024, then such unspent amount will have to be transferred to Schedule 7 fund, right?
Yes, precisely. Also, it is recommended that if any amount relating to ongoing project for the financial year 2020-2021 is remaining unspent, then it is intended to complete the spending by 31st March 24. Then spending of such amount should also be included in the annual action plan for the financial year 23-24. If not included, the company may also amend its annual action plan for such inclusion, because ultimately it is to be spent during the financial year 23-24, although it is related to financial year 2020-2021.
Okay, but what if for any reason the company does not want to spend the money on that same CSR project? Can it change the project now?
Yes, definitely. There's one FAQ given in the FAQs on CS. There's one FAQ given in FAQs on CSR released by MCA via its circular dated 25th August 2021. To be precise, FAQ number 6.6 and 6.7. As per these, the board of directors of the company may abandon or modify an ongoing project partially or wholly under exceptional circumstances during the prescribed project period as per the recommendation of its CSR committee and by providing reasonable justification to that effect. In such a case, the board of directors and the CSR committee should appropriately record the alteration in the target spending and modify the same in accordance with the actuals. But the only condition is that unspent money should be spent within 3 years, excluding the year of commencement of the project, that is, before 31st March 2024 in this case.
Okay, but if we change the CSR project, then what about the name of the project that we had entered earlier in Form CSR 2?
There is one separate column number 10 in Form CSR 2 which is meant for mentioning about the change in ongoing project. In this column, company can mention about such change in the project.
Okay, understood. Actually, this concept of ongoing project is itself very deep and we can have a separate podcast on this someday. Presently, let's move to one more concept under CSR, that is annual action plan. Could you throw some light on this concept?
Sure. Concept of annual action plan comes from Rule 5 Sub-Rule 2 of CSR Rules 2014. As per this rule, the CSR committee is required to formulate an annual action plan in accordance with the CSR policy. Rule 5 Sub-Rule 2 also specifies the contents of annual action plan.
So is there any timeline for preparation of this annual action plan?
No, there is no specific timeline specified by law, but since preparation of annual action plan is the first step of CSR, it is advisable to prepare the same at the beginning of the year. If any company has not prepared the same yet, they can still do the same and ensure that disbursal of CSR funds are done only after the board of directors approve the annual action plan.
Okay, but other than the legal compliance requirement, do you feel there is any more advantage of having an annual action plan?
Yes, Rule 4, Sub-Rule 5 of CSR rules state that the board of directors of the company shall satisfy themselves that the funds disbursed have been utilized for the purpose and in the manner as approved by the board of directors, and the CFO or any person responsible for financial management need to certify to this effect to the board. This monitoring is possible only if the purpose and manner of CSR spending is prescribed in the annual action plan. Further, as per Rule 4, Sub-Rule 6, the board of directors need to monitor the implementation of all ongoing projects with reference to the approved timelines and year-wise allocation. So this can be monitored through an effective annual action plan, and probably that stands as an added advantage.
Thank you very much, Hasti. That was a very good discussion on basics of CSR. As mentioned earlier, we shall come up with a detailed podcast on an ongoing project towards the end of the financial year, wherein we shall discuss some more difficulties and their probable solutions faced during undertaking of ongoing project. For now, thank you for listening to MMJC Fortnightly Podcast. In case of any problems or suggestions, please feel to write to us at mmjcinfo@mmjc.in.